Well, you are the Religious Communities Outreach Liaison. Maybe explain for our listeners exactly how that position happened and what does that mean?
So the position started last year, and they came up with many of these organizations. One of these officers that are officers work in different communities. So we have a liaison for the faith-based community, which is me. We have a an officer for the homeless community, LGBT officers. So the focus is working with people in those communities that might not have a good connection with officers. So my focus is people who are in smaller faith groups. So the Jewish community, the Catholic community, groups that are not have as many as other. Granted, there are more Catholics in the city than some might think, but it is a way for me to connect with those different communities that might not have a good relationship with officers or may have no relationship with officers. So the focus is for me to do outreach to those groups and learn more about them. I know much about them, but they might not know about officers. So the more that we know as officers about those faith groups, the better that we can serve them in our community.
Michael, did you inherit the position or did you create the position?
It was put out because it is part of the consent decree. So I had put in through it. So in school, I had studied theology. I had lived overseas. I have lived in a bunch of places. When I was in high school, the Jesuits, I drank the Kool-Aid, let's say. So I wanted to make service part of my life. So after college, I was in the Peace Corps, and I volunteered in Africa and in Asia. And then my time living over there, I wanted to learn as much as I could about different faith groups and faith communities and just serve my community. This position with the department just kind of fit that bill when it came out. I said, this is perfect for me because this was my background when I had lived overseas, serving the community in different groups that might not be like my family, like my community. And that was my hope with it. And so far, so good.
It's interesting, Mike, that your background, Queen of All Saints, Loyola Academy, so Catholic grammar school, Catholic high school, that it's so part of you, but then yet you wanted to give your life as a Chicago police officer. And I will say this on the air, the Chicago Police Department are the unsung heroes, along with our first responders in hospitals and the doctors and the nurses and the whole staffs, for the great work that you do. When I see a police officer, I'm at Holy Name Cathedral, so I'm walking to the hospital or just walking by Michigan Avenue, whatever, I see a police officer, I go up and say, thank you, and may God bless you. And I mean that sincerely, the work that you do. And like anything, does it have its problems? Yeah, welcome to the human family for all of us.
Yeah, right.
But in your life, with your foundation in Catholicism, but you wanted to give your life as a police officer, when did you make that decision to say, I want to serve the people of God as a Chicago police officer?
So for me, I always wanted to be a cop. So growing up, what did you want to be when you grew up? I want to be an astronaut. I want to dance. I want to whatever. I always wanted to be a cop. I never thought that I actually would be. So I went in college. I went to a Jesuit school. I went to Fairfield University in Fairfield, Connecticut. So for me, I wanted to make service part of my life. So I went into the Peace Corps, and like everything with all of us, I was there during the terrorist attacks.
Oh,
So
wow.
I watched, I was in Africa and I watched on the television, they had firebombed a mosque in the south suburbs of our city. And they had killed, I think it was one or two Sikhs who aren't even Muslim. So these things are happening and people are blaming others for things that happen that have nothing to do with their faith. And it just clicked. I came home after the terrorist attacks, and just by chance, the test was being offered for the department. I did that, took the test, and I left again and lived 9 months at an AIDS hospice and orphanage in Bangkok, Thailand, with Father Joseph Meyer at the Human Development Foundation, which is in Bangkok, Thailand. And then when I had to start paying off my college loans, just by chance, I came home, and that in the mail at Mom's house was the letter from the department to enter into the next steps to be an officer. So for me, it was this service that I chose It just kind of fell into place, but ended up being the perfect spot for me. I chased bad guys and did, crime fighting for about a decade before I went into other positions. And this is my current position that I'm proud to have.
Now, can I ask